Coaching through modern media. Lesson 3. What are media and coaching? A first approach.
Welcome to the lecture Coaching Through Modern Media. I'm Harald Geisler. I'm professor for further education at Helmut Schmidt University in Hamburg, Germany. My favorite subject in research and teaching is coaching. I'm doing this reflecting my many years of experience as coaching practitioner. On this basis, I developed and established in 2006 an internet platform called virtualcoaching.net. In these days, I was a pretty lonely pioneer in this new field. But now things are changing. More and more coaches are becoming open to use the modern communication technologies for their coaching services. And more entrepreneurs invest their money to develop new internet platforms to be used for distant coaching services. So I think now it's time to have a lecture about coaching through modern media, or shortly e-coaching, to give a broad overview and some in-depth insights into this interesting new field of practice. If you have a look onto the slides you can see in the background, you will realize that our lecture is structured in some different parts. The first one is the introduction, and this is a third lesson. Its goal is to give a first conceptual answer to the question, what are media in coaching? Traditional and modern ones. I want to present you an answer into 2 steps. The first step is that there is a basic differentiation between basic media and problem-solving tools. The basic media are standalone media, and the problem-solving media are add-on media. They need the basic medium as a host. That's the first step. And the second is that every media in coaching serves 3 functions. The first function is to present the coaching issues. The second is to serve as a means for reaching the different coaching goals. And the third is to serve as a means to give the coaching process a methodological structure.
The first step will be insight. That is coaching. There are basically 2 essential types of media. Coaching basic media and coaching problem-solving tools. The former are standalone media. The latter are proposals for add-ons which build on the former or are integrated into the basic media. With one exception, that is why problem-solving media rely on basic media. Basic media are the host for them. I just mentioned an exception. This exception is self-coaching. We will come back to this later in our lecture. To be more precise on what coaching basic media are and what they can achieve, it seems to be beneficial to have a look on the essential triangle relationship on coaching, the relationship between coach, client and coaching issue. Referring to the triangle relationship, the coaching basic media provide 2-form mediation. Firstly, they arbitrate between the imagination of coach and client, and they arbitrate between coach or client and the coaching issue. And secondly, they enable the coach to convey his imagination about the coaching issue to the client, and the other way around.
Hi Chris, how are you?
Not very good, I'm afraid. I've got a problem, a real problem, and I'm getting really stressed about it.
It doesn't sound good. Tell me what the problem is.
Well, I've got this report to write, and it's got to be done by next Friday. And I put some time aside to do it, but I just haven't managed to get round to doing it. There's so much going on at the moment. I've been doing lots of trainings, I've got lots of meetings, and it just isn't time. And, well, now, because next week's so busy, I can't see how I'm even going to get this report done.
How big is this report?
Well, it's going to take about half a day to do. It's about 9 to 10 pages.
Right, okay. So just clarify for me exactly what has to be done by...
What did we just watch? We saw a client and a coach. The coach started the conversation by asking how the client is doing. The client instantly began to talk about her problem. Her problem is that she does have to write a report on short notice and does not have enough time to spare. The basic media in this example is face-to-face communication between coach and client. The face-to-face communication serves two purposes. It transmits between both persons, meaning it facilitates the development and creation of the relationship between coach and client. This is the first mediation function of the basic media. The second mediation function is that the client conveys her problem to the coach using this basic media.
Harald Geisler, hello.
Hi Harald, this is Maren.
Yeah, how are you?
Well, not so good right now. I'm too busy. So much to do.
That seems not so good. What's the matter? Could you tell me?
Yes, well, I have a report to do till Friday, and I have a team building from Monday till Tuesday, and Wednesday a big meeting all day long, and so I won't be in before Thursday to write this report, and this is less time.
Yeah, I understand. It seems to be a real problem. Should we talk about that?
Yes, please.
Yes. So I would suggest that we use again the platform Coaching Spaces. You remember?
Yes.
Yes. Let's do so.
Great.
We saw and hear a client and a coach. In contrast to the first clip, this was not face-to-face interaction, but phone communication. The contents of the communication were nearly identical. The coach started the conversation by asking how the client is doing. The client immediately began to talk about her problem. Her problem is that she does have to write a report on short notice and does not have enough time to spare. The phone communication serves two purposes. Firstly, it established a relationship between both persons. Secondly, it enabled the client to convey her problem to the coach. There's a second part of the video.
Oh, great. I see you have entered already Coaching Spaces and you have decided for a special landscape. Very nice. And that's our stage in the front. Well, at the left-hand side, you see some icons. The third one refers to images. Click on it, please. Yes. And now we have some different images that should represent your problem. But first you must insert a keyword that is representing your image. What's the appropriate keyword? What do you think?
I thought about it. It might be stress.
Stress, yeah. Great. Please enter. And then there are a lot of different images. Have a look onto these and make a decision. Which of these images would represent your problem best?
Maybe this one.
Yeah. You have put it onto the stage. You can make it bigger or smaller if you want. Okay. Then have a closer look to this image. What do you see? What do you see on this image?
Well, I see a woman, maybe me in 10 years, and at work, and there's so much work to do and too much, and it's close to to be too much to get drowned under it.
I see. Is there any connection to your actual problem?
Yes, it's like it's an overload. It's a feeling it's too much.
We heard that coach and client continued their conversation. Additionally to what we hear, we saw a specific coaching tool, namely the platform Coaching Spaces. We did not see entirely of the platform, but a certain problem-solving tool. The option to those 2D images and position them within a 3D stage. The combination of both videos should have illustrated the nature of the two basic media types, coaching basic media and problem-solving tools. We learned about 3 different coaching basic media: face-to-face dialogue, video dialogue, and phone dialogue. However, there are more basic media than those three.
In total, there are 9 different basic media. The traditional basic media is face-to-face dialogue. The following basic media are based on modern communication media and are therefore modern basic media. Video dialogue via Skype or WebEx has the most similarities with the face-to-face dialogue. It is a synchronous dialogue. This dialogue could be performed asynchronously by video mailing. This means the communicating partners created video recordings and sent them to each other via internet. Hereby, the client can answer the coach's questions asked in the coach's last video mail, or the client could perform an exercise which was proposed by the coach. The most common modern basic media is phone dialogue. And of course, there's an asynchronous version as well with audio mailing. The communicating partners electronically record a spoken text and send them to each other via email or another internet application. A further modern basic media is synchronous text chat. The asynchronous version would be emailing. And finally, coach and client could communicate as avatars, voice-based or chat-based. This will be further illustrated with an example during one of the next lessons. For this purpose, there are primarily 2 options. Coach and client are connected acoustically as with a telephone call. The other option would be synchronous text chat. These coaching basic media will be presented and discussed in the next block of our lecture. In the third block of our lecture, we will continue with the problem-solving tools. They can be clustered into 4 segments: text-based problem-solving tools, 2D visual problem-solving tools, which use, for example, 2D images, depictions, and signs and symbols to offer special support for a problem-solving process in coaching. 3D static visual problem-solving tools. With these tools, we enter a fascinating virtual 3D world in a first step. This first step is determined by the feature that it is a static world, or a world without action. So the 4th segment of problem-solving tools, which we will present in the 3rd block of our lecture, refers to 3D dynamic visual problem-solving tools. With these tools, we enter the dynamic world of avatars. Taking a closer look at the processes which coaching consists of, it becomes apparent that they themselves consist of a series of sense units. They can be imagined as slices of bread. During the course of this lecture, we will learn that speech acts are the smallest sense units. They can be combined to form larger units, which themselves can be combined to larger units as well. Regarding the video we just watched, the description of the problem given by the client can be considered a medium-sized sense unit. Regardless of the size of a coaching sense unit, every coaching sense unit consists of 4 aspects or sides. The first aspect is the issue. Issue is what coach and client are talking about in the coaching. For the just mentioned sense unit, this means the first side is the client's issue, namely the necessity to finish the report without having the necessary time to do it. To communicate an issue, coach and client have to present it to each other. That is, making it perceivable, which means the use of the coaching media, initially the basic media. The first clip showed the use of face-to-face communication as a basic media. The first part of the second clip showed video communication, while the second part showed phone communication. However, the second part of the second video did show even more. Coach and client use a specific problem-solving tool of the coaching platform Coaching Spaces. An image the client shows to illustrate her problem metaphorically. With regards to the 2 videos, this means in the first video, face-to-face communication was used to represent the client's issue, while in the second video, the client used phone communication to present her issue and enrich the presentation with the aid of 2D visual images within a 3D visual platform. These 2 aspects, which are part of every sense unit, are accompanied by a third one, intention. The issue, which the coaching is about, is always a problem or challenge which inheres a certain intention. This intention varies from case to case. Nevertheless, in general, the intention is to solve the problem or to master the challenge. This fundamental attribute can be observed in both videos. It is apparent that the client presents her issue for the coach to help her find a solution. These 3 aspects are joined by a 4th and final one, methodological structure. Regarding the examples, this aspect can be observed by the specific sequence which underlies the client's presentation of her problem. Meaning, at first she points out that she does not feel well. Secondly, she tells the coach about the report she has to write. And finally, she mentions the lack of time. In the second video, the methodological structure is added by the coach, asking the client to find a suiting image for her problem.
On this basis, it's safe to say, coaching media, that is basic media and problem-solving media, do have three sides to them. The first side is that coaching media portray the coaching issue. This portrait is not a one-on-one translation of reality. It is rather a subjective interpretation of reality. Therefore, the client or the coach communicates the portrait of his or her mental reality, which is always a subjective creation. The coaching issues can refer to two different things. They can refer to the client's issue, that is his or her current problem she wants to solve, the problem-solving option, and the client's experience, which she made while implementing the problem-solving options developed in the coaching. However, they can be issues which refer to meta-communicatively to the coaching process, meaning the contracting, the relationship between coaching and client, or the question regarding the past or current course of action. With a closer look towards the client issues, it becomes apparent that there are two options to present them. Coach and client can reflect on them. They can look at them from different angles and analyze them from the basis of an evaluation of the client's issues. Alternatively, the client can reproduce them skinnily, for example using role play. Concluding, we can say the first function which coaching media perform during every moment of the coaching process is to portray the coaching issue and the mental reality behind them. These coaching issues and with the interconnected mental reality can take one of the following two mental realities. The mental reality which was created by the client cognitively and emotionally reflecting on the coaching issue, aided by the coach, and the coach reality which was created by the client cognitively and emotionally projective herself in his or her coaching issue and reproducing them in a role play. Just like an actor who tasked in to emphasize with the role, not to give a lecture about reality she should bring to life. With regards to those features, it is safe to say the first function of coaching media is a constitutive function, meaning the coaching media constitute the mental reality, which is processed in the coaching. Adding to this constitutive function, coaching media are always a means to an end. Therefore, all coaching media have to serve a teleological function. This function is split into two special functions. First, all coaching media have to serve as a means to reach the coaching goals. And second, they have to serve as a means to give the coaching process a methodological structure. What are the implications for the videos we just watched? In the first video, face-to-face communication was used to make the client's mental reality a subject of discussion by the client talking about her mental reality. The function is fulfilled by the phone communication in the second example. The client talk about her problem, that is, she verbally presents the mental reality of her problem. In the second part of the second video, this changes. The coach asks the client to present and reflect her problem using another coaching media, in particular in a 2D image. By thematizing her problem, the client purposes a clear goal. She wants to have a solution for a problem. Another thing becomes apparent, the change of the coaching media. That is the exchange of linguistic speech with a 2D image for the purpose of reflection on the client's problem. Creates a methodological structure for the coaching process. Attention should be paid to this. After the client has painted her problem, the coach suggested to look at it from a meta level. Therefore, they continued the discussion in an internet stage called Coaching Spaces. The coach believes that this coaching media is currently convenient to reach the client's goal quickly and guide to a good solution. And because of the coach's suggestion using this kind of structure, the coaching process gets a certain methodical structure. We don't know how the coaching kept on, so let us imagine how it would develop. One possibility is that the coach suggests, after the client has reflected her selected picture, to put herself in the position of the woman in the picture, so that the client can more identify with her. To continue, the coach could say, "How that you are connected with this woman, I would like to have a short conversation with her. And my first question is, how are you and how do you feel right now? What do you think and what are you up to?" With those questions, the coach opened up a role-playing process, which the client as the woman in the picture who represents her problem. The media is a combination between 2D picture and the language of client. These kind of approach, using different media, lead to the ideal help of solving clients' issues. In matters of the argued thoughts, it becomes a part that also a role-playing gives structure to the coaching process.
Now we are coming to the end of the third lesson. What were the most important insights I wanted to deliver to you? I think it were two. The first is that there are two basic types of media. The first is that there are basic media, they are standing alone. And the second type are solving problem tools. They need a basic medium as a host. The second insight is that every single coaching medium serves three functions. The first function is to present the coaching issues. Representing does not mean reproduction of the reality. It's more an interpretation. And every interpretation is a mental reconstruction or a mental construction. So the first function is a constitutional function. And the second function is every single coaching medium has to serve as a means for reaching the different coaching goals. And finally, the third function is to serve as a means to give the coaching process a methodological structure.